Bridging the Gap podcast.
Okay, welcome back. It's a new year, 2025. Woo! We've been trying to do this podcast for, I don't know, about 2 weeks.
Yep.
I think the lovely Kay is here with us today. I should probably start by saying hi. How you been?
Hello, you sexy gammon.
Yeah, this is going to be a weird one today. We got some new microphones for Christmas, bought by yours truly. So since Boxing Day, we've been trying to do this, but it's just been running around having Christmas fun and chocolate. Yeah, we've not even opened some of that for today yet. But we're back. We wanted to do like a podcast in between Boxing Day and New Year's Eve, so that we could do a bit of a roundup of 2024 and do what most people on their podcast are doing. But it's been a wild few weeks actually, isn't it? And now we kind of feel like we've hit a lull and we're back. So this one's going to be a bit different. It's not going to be all about you and your singing and stuff. This is more just chat shit, yeah, the weird shit that we go on about, but also go over some of the stuff from 2024 that we might have forgotten about, or chat GPT it at some point, see if it reminds us of some things. But I think one thing that kind of stuck with me is was it Laura when we went out for a Christmas meal? Hi, shout out. Who was saying that she'd listened to your episode. This is one of Kay's family members.
Oh yeah.
And we were saying, what should we talk about if we do one? And she said TV shows. And I was like, oh, that's interesting, because I mean, I know we all grew up watching The Simpsons, and like if I say Simpsons to anyone our age, they're like, yeah, straight after school, 6 o'clock. We were all on it. We remember those days sitting in front of the TV. But I don't think anything's changed. I feel like we've just become the TV generation, and now Netflix is our new Simpsons. But let's start with that. Let's start with TV shows of 2024. And can I start by saying 2 words which made everybody stop for a good few days this year? I hope it was this year. I'll have to double check. But Baby Reindeer.
Baby Reindeer.
You sounded tiny then. You sounded really far away.
I'm here.
But I mean, I must say these sound nice.
They do sound nice.
Yeah. I'm not going to have to do too much after to hopefully get it to sound nice. But there's less of the room as well. Let me do the obligatory audio person. Clapping around the room, no one can hear it. Yeah.
And this is actually a terrible room to record in, isn't it? Because it is just...
It is, yeah.
Plain walls and, what is it, wooden floor.
It's just everything's reflective. And it doesn't help. We've got 2 of the walls in this room don't have doors on them. So they lead into another room.
We don't live in a crack den, by the way. It is actually very nice.
It was. I just needed my next fix, so I sold the doors. No. So, we're getting there. I will start by saying that before we get into Baby Reindeer and how fucking crazy it was.
We do have doors.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we've got doors and we are functioning people. This next year is going to be an interesting one for podcasts. So anybody who actually is even listening, like I obviously see the analytics for these episodes and they're nothing special, but I'm happy. I'm like, oh my God, somebody listened. But this year is going to be fun. I'm going to try and reach out to some interesting people. But we're also going to try and do some kind of, how would you describe it? Like a Jules Holland live lounge kind of thing. So we're going to try and get some musicians that we know. We might go out and look around the area, open mic nights and stuff. And if we find interesting people, have them here, because we have a room next to us, which is obviously it's a big open gap. It's not a door. So we could set up for a live performance there. So we could get some people in, find out their weird life story, how they grew up on the moon and now they're addicted to heroin. I don't fucking know.
Cool.
But they don't believe in aliens. And yeah, and then have a little performance at the end, with hopefully yours truly doing something like that at some point.
Damn, son.
Hell yeah. But yeah, so a lot of fun stuff to come. I think this started as a bit of a weird thing in 2024. Let's not deny it. I'd listen to nothing but podcasts, not just Joe Rogan, which is fucking blatant, but Two Bears, One Cave. I'm going to grab my phone and look at other ones. Bert and Tom, all of those kind of ones. And I was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. And I think without going into too much depth, I'm going deaf in one ear. So the music stuff I was doing is getting harder and harder. I was thinking, well, fuck it. Could still use the microphones and chat shit. But yeah, I'm liking where it's going, so I'm hoping to put a lot more into it this year. But I forgot what I was looking for now. Is it podcasts? Yeah. There's one other one I was going to shout out. Trigonometry's good. And
What's that one?
that's two blokes from, I mean, there must be down
One
south
cup.
somewhere. Two blokes, one cup. Yeah, it's filthy. You know, it's only audio as well. That's the worst thing about it. It's just you walking down the street and squelch. I just wanted to watch your face turn.
Word, isn't it?
It's the wrong kind of word to be using. Ninjas are butterflies. Now, we've never actually sat and listened to a lot of that.
It looks very interesting though, doesn't it? Everything they talk about, we're like, whoa. We just send each other.
It's all the weird theories and like, oh, did you hear about this man from 20 years ago that killed 400 people and hid them in his shed? Like, it's those kind of conspiracy
Big
theories.
shed.
It's fucking big shed, yeah. Lex, I don't know how you say it. Friedman, whatever. But he's the one that sounds like a robot, but is very intelligent. I think you've seen me watching it a few times.
He's
That
a bit
guy.
roboty. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Haid, if he's listening, he reminds me of you a little bit in terms of intelligence. But yeah, so podcast wise, it's grown out of nowhere, but I'm enjoying it. And I don't think it's the fact I like the sound of my own voice. I think it's I just like chatting shit and winding people up. Because we will be having.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah, I mean, even off microphone with yourself.
Yes.
Yes. You've just spent the past 5 minutes making me dance like a Russian in the kitchen. Let's not lie, you like winding me up as well.
I didn't make you.
You did.
Just sang a song and you did the dance. So.
You did. But anyway, welcome back, 2025. We are back on air. I've already got a couple of people coming back. Umar has got his book of truth where he's been listening to all of these previous episodes and wants to come and tell us why we're wrong. So
only if you introduce him as Ma. I want to know.
Joe, you tried that before, and when I said it to him, he just looked at me like, yeah, piss off.
Listen, if people don't have joy in their lives, what do they have?
Well, hatred in their hearts.
Exactly.
Yes.
Bring on the joy.
Okay. But so let's kind of bring it back a little bit. I'm just thinking recap of 2024. Some wild shit happened. But let's start with the TV shows and stuff, because me and you, let's admit to the world right now, have a bit of a problem.
Yeah, bit of a problem.
Yeah, I mean, we started this year, we wrote a couple of goals down. We were like, we spend too much time watching TV in the evenings. So we thought, fuck it, we're going to move the TV to the living room, and we're not going to have a TV in the bedroom. We'll read books. And I did it, and I put books on the stand in the bedroom, and it looked really nice. I put a plant next to it and everything. How long did it last, Kay?
24 hours.
Not even 24 hours. By the next night, we're going, this is shit. Let's just go back upstairs.
I feel like I could have done longer, to be fair.
Don't say that now. It was you that brought the TV back upstairs.
Only because you wanted to.
You did it. If I wanted to jump off a bridge, would you do it?
No.
Exactly.
It's not the same. It's not even
It's not
remotely
the same.
the same.
It's the same. But, right, so I pardon me. I wrote down a few of these TV shows, but Baby Reindeer has got to be one of the weirdest fucking things we've watched in the past year, hasn't it?
I think what also is weird about it is that when you're watching it, you're also for the guy who's obviously the main guy and the actual guy in real life. You're like, but these were your life choices. Like there are moments like you were leading her on. You also made the choice to go to these places, and
but at one point he walks to where she lives and like starts peeping through the window and shit. And you're going, well, you're not absolved of all responsibility here, mate. You were a bit of a creep as well.
Yeah.
Like, why did you keep letting her come back to the pub and like getting her and speaking to her and stuff? Like, it was weird.
So weird. And also, I guess what's weird is that when he won whatever it was, a BAFTA or whatever, she was in the audience. And it's like, how is she not in jail for what she did?
What would you? When he won a BAFTA?
Yeah, she was just sat in the audience.
What, real life?
Real life, whatever.
Whoa, I didn't know that. Right, bring it back a little bit. So, yes, it was fucking weird, the whole thing. But I think the thing that compelled people to like binge it in one night, I'm pretty sure was it one night or 2 nights? I think it was either way.
Like 4 nights. I don't know.
Either way, it was fucking fast. But she's a fucking psycho, and everybody watches it going, we've all met someone that is either a little bit like that or could end up like that. It's got that sense of realism. But then when you go, oh shit, this is based on a true story. But there was a lot of controversy about whether it was real. Is it, whether he's embellished it way too much compared to the real thing.
Can you just Google what happened at the end? Because I can't remember if she went to jail. I don't feel like she
I
did.
think she did. Because he went there. He went to the court, didn't he? Right, here we go. She pleads guilty to all charges and is sentenced to 9 months in prison.
I mean, that's nothing, is it?
He's also granted a 5-year restraining order. But didn't he saved all of the audio files as well, didn't he? Like all of the recordings and stuff of it, which is a fucking weird thing to do.
Yeah, because he also kind of became a bit obsessed with her, didn't he? Almost like her being in his life made him feel special, even though he knew it was wrong. I guess like a very weird toxic relationship.
It's like a fucked up modern day woke Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
It's literally. But okay, so let's not forget that at some point she went on. I can't remember his name. Pierce
Brosnan.
Morgan.
Yeah.
Wait, who's Pierce Brosnan? Oh, that's who I went to say.
007, isn't he?
I went to say Pierce Brosnan as well.
Yeah.
Mr. Reindeer. But so she went on there, and I mean, how many views did that get? Let's just search that. How many views did Baby Reindeer lady get on Piers Morgan? I'm glad I didn't autocorrect to Brosnan.
She seeks 1.25 million for her first televised appearance.
Oh, is that when she went on? She wants
wouldn't that
1.25 million for that.
Furious.
Fuck right off. I mean, Piers doesn't deserve it either. He's a bit of a knob, but it doesn't say on here. It says more about how much she got paid.
£250 offered by Piers Morgan.
I hope he paid her 250 quid. Take this, you bitch.
But doesn't the actress look pretty much exactly like...
What, like the
woman?
Let's just see. Real and actress Baby Reindeer compared. Let's see if we can get a picture of this up. Fuck yeah, that's...
Like, that is good.
There you go, that's a perfect one. It is, it's fucking scary. I'll be honest, the real woman just looks a little bit
Porcelain.
rough. And she, like, the actress actually looks more psychotic.
Yeah.
Then she's got that kind of like psycho eye to her.
The real Martha, can't remember what her name is, Barbara, whatever.
Yeah, it's Martha. Yeah, who is the real Martha Scott?
That's not her real name though. Fiona Harvey, that's her.
Oh, okay.
She does on the outset look like a bit weird.
Oh yeah, I mean that's undeniable.
But I guess what's fascinating is like this one chap has just happened to make a movie out of his life. But can you imagine there must be so many crazy stories out there of people's just normal lives and all the bonkers things that have happened. Oh,
definitely. Everyone's got a story of a psycho. Like it's without getting too deep, because this is meant to be a nice 2024 roundup, happy taking the piss thing, but without getting too deep, I feel like since social media and stuff's got involved, normal relationships don't exist anymore. It's hectic, it's crazy, like there's too many relationships that are like hot cold, like it's just but I guess I've just realized, sorry, this picture is from South China Morning Post. Even the Chinese are interested in this, like but yeah, I feel like it's all too common these days. But either way, that's what I was saying. So she went on Piers Morgan or Brosnan and had her say, which everybody watched. And I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, all the comments afterwards were, holy shit, he was right, she's bonkers, whatever. I didn't realise that. Did they then go on to win an award for the Netflix show?
He won the award for Baby Reindeer, but she was in the audience.
Fuck off, no, I've got to Google that. How did I not know this? I'm annoyed as your boyfriend. You didn't tell me this, to be honest. So, right, Baby Reindeer award presentation, I guess.
Fiona?
With Fiona in crowd. Like, how did she even get tickets? Surely he's got a 5-year restraining order.
But when was it taken out? Also, what I'm saying could be a lie, but I'm pretty sure it's not.
Well, I'm fact checking you right now.
Okay. Don't fact check me. That's weird.
What?
And mean.
What?
I said fat.
Oh, no. Don't be silly. Okay, I can't see anything about it. Oh, yeah. There's something about it. She slams recognition of Richard Gadd's Baby Reindeer amid ongoing lawsuit.
Who knows?
Who knows? I mean, if anybody at all is even listening and wants to find out and let me know, that would be very interesting for me. But overall, crazy. It was fucking crazy. I remember just watching it and everybody fucking going nuts, like this can't be true. But then when she showed her face and went, oh, really? But it said something to her narcissism and like her need to be right and everybody like her, because she's still doing it by going on there. And that's what everyone went, fucking, she doesn't even realise. It doesn't matter what she says. The fact that she's doing this tells us that it's true, yeah.
I'd be more annoyed as him knowing that she's trying to make money out of it. Also, like, he's kind of ruined her life, although also half his fault. But ruined her life and then gone, well, I want £1 million. Actually, imagine that. Imagine I just ruined your life and then went, I want £1 million for ruining your life.
Oh, good luck. I'll give you a tenner.
I'll take it.
But I mean, there is something I recently saw yesterday on Netflix. I think it's like number 3 in the UK at the minute, called Ma, like M-A.
Oh, yeah.
And that, I don't know if it's based on a true story, but it's like an American version of it. It's like a lady that I think she buys some kids at school or something some alcohol because they can't get served. And then she's like, oh, you can use my basement. Let's all go have a couple of drinks down there and have a good night. And then they're like, all right, yeah, let's do it. Like most kids probably would. And then the next day she like turns up at their school. She's like, do you want to do it again? Are you my friends now? And then starts getting a little bit. But I can't tell whether that's just an interesting plot or whether they've seen how well Baby Reindeer did over here and went, fuck it, let's just kind of amalgamate a couple of different storylines into this enthralling piece. But we should watch it anyway, just to see what it's like. But
Okay.
It'd be good. So that's Baby Reindeer with a little bow on it, I'd say. I think summary, fucking bonkers, great watch. Let's go for, I've mentioned it on a couple of other podcasts, The Madness. Now, I kind of gave a brief description of kind of what went on, but I didn't want to give any endings away. I guess anyone who's not seen Baby Reindeer, apologies.
I've not seen Madness, so don't have any idea.
Yeah, you have.
What's that about?
You watched it with us.
What is it?
It's the CNN reporter that gets framed for killing that bloke in the cabin. He goes away.
Oh,
It's that one.
Yeah. Sorry. I was like, what are you on about?
Well, that's it. We've watched so much, you forget, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, that was actually very good. Very
Like
gripping.
tense. Yeah.
Like we just wanted to get to the end, didn't we? So yeah, that was a good one.
I can't actually remember how it ends. He gets his job back in the end, doesn't he?
I think I remember how it ends. Am I allowed to say?
Yeah, fuck it. Right. If anyone doesn't want to know how it ends because they're currently watching it, skip for like 5 minutes.
So he obviously was working at CNN, wasn't it? And they like kicked him out, suspended him. And then they asked him back, like, oh, really sorry, because they wanted obviously more views. And he went on there and like was calling out who the actual murderer was, which was this big shot, very rich man. So I feel like it kind of got left in the air because they offered him 12 million to shut up, didn't they? And he didn't sign it, didn't sign the disclosure form to get 12 million. He just went on CNN and was like,
Had I fallen asleep at this point? I can't remember the ending.
maybe.
But all I remember is that it was a good ending because I thought he was just going to end up getting killed at the end or something to make it all stop so his family was all right or something. But
I do feel like they could do a part 2 with it because they didn't quite.
Yeah.
He didn't go, okay, I'll be quiet if you give me 12 million.
Yeah. I mean, there was that one bit where he falls out of the window or something into the sea and that bloke rescues him out of the water or something and he wakes up chained to a bed in the middle of nowhere.
I can't remember that.
Can you remember that bit?
No.
The bloke has a dog and he's just a bit of a creep in like...
He's in the cabin.
Yeah.
Like,
but he manages to escape.
yeah.
Like that bit. Really short scene, but it was one of them scenes that made me go, yeah, fuck that. Like if that happened to me, I would be screwing. Well, just yeah. But what other stuff have we been watching? Lincoln Lawyer season 2. That was good. Like I how can I describe it? For UK viewers, it's cheesy and it's shit. Really, it's American crap, but I can't help but watch it. Like when it's on, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch like 4 episodes of this because I can just like mong and watch this. It's fine. But
I do feel like in one episode they could probably tell you in 20 minutes what happens, but they drag it out for an hour.
yeah,
But it's interesting because they leave you wanting to know what happens next, but you're like, oh, a good 40 minutes of this you could have just not put in the show.
yeah, I do feel like it's a drawn out Mexican Suits.
I thought you were going to say Mexican soup.
No, because obviously Suits. If you haven't watched Suits out there, you got to fucking watch Suits. It's fucking well good. I swear, like half the pricks in London want to be Harvey Specter. That's where they get a haircut from. At
You
least
said you want to be Harvey Specter.
I didn't say I want to be him. Whoa! They grassing me up to everyone on here.
He's smiling. He laughs when he's smiling.
No, I said I like his ethos to life. You know what I mean? Like if you watch it, it's good. But I'm not gonna get greasy, slick back hair and like comb over there. But I'm not tall enough to try and be Harvey Specter, to be honest.
I don't think height really is the...
Well, I'm only 6 foot, so... Why are you laughing?
He's 5'8".
And a half.
I can't wear my heels. It's fine.
Oh, fucking hell. I'm going to go cry.
You brought it up.
Clarkson's Farm.
Oh,
That's
great
one.
show.
That's fucking great.
Although the last season was very sad.
With the sheep
Yeah.
in the... No, wait, was that the last season or the season before?
Well, the most recent season, all of it was kind of doom and gloom. But I know there's another one coming out and that seems a bit more positive. So
Yeah, he did a post recently. Was it with fireworks in the shape of a number 5?
Oh, yeah.
And that was, I can't wait for that. It's such a strange thing because it's not like a night agent or, these like enthralling TV shows with like guns and action and stuff. It's literally a funny bloke and his mates on a farm with his wife and a couple of dogs. But it's such feel-good TV.
Yeah. And it is interesting too, isn't it?
Like anybody that I know that watches it, Tom from my old workplace, like he would watch it on his phone in the car while he was like waiting to do shit at work. But it just makes you think, oh, fuck this, I'm going to move to the country. Just like that looks more
I'd love
tranquil
to do that.
and peaceful, Would you though, if you had to be cleaning up all that shit every day? And learning about like the difference between an arable and a pastoral farm.
Well,
and,
you just said move to the country. You didn't say live on a farm.
Yeah, I think isn't that the problem that most people have? I think everyone would like to move to the country. Not always. Some people do like the hustle and bustle of a city, but I think a lot of people would like to move to the country. They just wouldn't be able to afford it because if you live in the country, where's the job? Because if you haven't got a remote job, it's not happening.
True that.
Although since COVID, that's kind of changed. A lot of people have the option to work from home, don't they?
Yeah. The only thing I worry about with stuff like that is, one, what if you get a burglar?
You can say a burger.
I don't really know what I was going to say. I wanted to be like burglar. And also, what if you had an emergency of any kind, like an accident, like, oh, I've just chopped my finger off, or I don't know, my plumbing's, the bathroom's just spurting water everywhere. You're just in the middle of nowhere.
You just make sure you got a friend like Haid, like a bush medic, where like, your arm's falling off, but he'll be around to like make you a sling out of leaves and like pat it down with a mushroom and it'll stop bleeding.
Well, I don't think if your arm's falling off, that's going to do a lot to help.
It could work, But yeah, I think that's a lot of the stuff that people that live out there just come to accept. Like there's some TV shows that we've not spoken about. All these Alaska.
Oh yeah,
Right. So
Alaskan bush people.
Alaskan bush people was the biggest load of shit.
It was great. It was great.
I'm going to let you describe it because I'll hurt people's feelings if I describe it.
It's a family of there's 7 kids and then the
can't be
mum
real.
and dad, and they've pretty much lived their whole life like not going to school. They just live in the wilderness, and all these terrible things just seem to happen to them in their life. Like the houses, I think their house got burnt down by the government because something to do with the plot of land that they
had
built
like
it on.
a log cabin, but it was in like an area of national beauty, and they'd been there for that long that technically they couldn't be moved along because they'd kind of like a squatter's rights kind of thing. But they obviously wanted the area to look nice. So I think they went to the shop one day, someone just burnt it down, which is awful. Like, no one deserves that at all. But the reason I've said that with a bit of a smile on my face is because I watched the whole thing with you and I cannot decide whether it's real or not.
It's definitely real.
I don't know.
It's definitely real. But I do think there's like a little part of me that is like, I'd enjoy that. Not building a house in the freezing cold, but just, live in the woods and...
Really? You think? Because I get it. There's some days where they're walking around and it's sunshine. Great. You're just in the woods. You've built a little cabin, whatever. Cool. But on the cold days, that looked awful.
Yeah, the
like
cold
wet
days.
And cold.
And I am a toilet snob, so that would not go down well.
So I feel like you've turned me into a bit of one. Like,
You're
if we went
welcome.
on holiday, I wouldn't want to share a toilet with anyone.
Good.
Like, but the thing is, then we go out for a meal or something, and we're all fine sharing that toilet.
Yeah, but no. Yeah, but we're not sharing a shower and a bath, and also I wouldn't want to share the toilet because they are usually disgusting.
That bit would be pretty cool from the wilderness. Like just waking up in the morning and just going, I'm gonna go
poo in a bush.
No, not the poo in the bush. I was gonna say get into the lake and because I mean, there's the whole kind of it's the freshest water you could ever get to cleaning. But
downside. I just figured out.
Fish.
We hate fish.
Yeah, we're not fish people, as in eating fish.
Seafood people, are we?
Yeah.
We would not last long.
No, there is that.
I think I'd be a badass Hunger Games kind of lady, though. I could shoot an arrow and kill a bee. You know what I'm saying?
We have played. We have done archery before. You've beat me at archery. I'll give you that.
I beat you at everything.
Well, I beat you last time we did archery. So, But no. Getting into the wilderness side of things again, and just getting into the lake and washing that'd be cool. It's kind of like a cold plunge and you shower at the same time. I think I'd enjoy that to begin with. But then, like now, it's fucking like -8 this morning when I got up. The idea of a cold plunge, get to fuck. Like, no.
Yeah, and they were full on like right near Alaska, so freezing cold. But they were just full on wearing a denim jacket. Like, oh, it's a bit cold. I put my denim jacket on. I was like, I would be dead. I'd have hypothermia and die.
Right. Can I give my description of it now?
Sure.
I'm not going to be. I was going to say I'm not going to be mean.
In your head, you want to be like, rah! But you can't.
Right. So it's like canned laughter. It looks like it's pre-scripted. The way that things, because there's things like, they walk into a bar because they need to go and haggle their way to get some more wood to build their cabin. But somehow the cameraman's already behind the bar. When they walk in, you're like, well, he's not been stood there all day drinking a Guinness waiting to see if they'd walk in. He's obviously gone in before them and gone, all right, lads, walk in about 5 minutes and then look anywhere but the camera, yeah? Like, it just doesn't make sense the way that it's filmed. It has to be scripted to some extent. But then there are scenes in there where, like, the locals are shooting at them because the locals don't want them living in the woods at the end of their very nice house, you know?
Yeah.
But
and they have to stop filming.
Think like American Travelers. It's basically that, isn't it? It's like they're nomads, if you want to call it that. But it's just funny because you look at the characters of all the individuals and you're like, you're so fucking weird, but it would be funny to spend a day with you. Like the one that he's like a kid stuck in a man's body because he can't
he
walk
just runs
anywhere.
Around and climbs trees and
yeah,
stuff.
he's like 35 years old. He's like, I love trees. I like climbing trees.
It's funny when they go out to like meet girls and they're like, when was the last time you climbed a tree? And it's like, these women are probably 30 years old.
She's in a Costa like, can I just get to the sugar and the stirrers, please? Like, fuck off.
I can't believe some of those women were actually like, yeah, okay, we'll come and see you on your island.
They blatantly saw a cameraman and went, we could get a couple of Instagram followers if we do this. And then they got there and the weird one had set up an assault course for them. And
I'm not going to lie. If on our first date or any date in the future you were like, I've built an assault course, I'd be like, awesome, let's go.
I thought you were going to say you wouldn't do it then. I was
no, bring it on.
I could set you up an assault course in the garden.
We both know I'd die. The first one in, I've broken my ankle.
But right, I feel like we should, let's leave it there because I don't want to ruin any more of it. But it's a very weird program, but for some reason, every night we'd be like, let's stick some of that on again. That was really funny. And it's not like we'd sit there with our laptops just doing bits. We would watch it. Alaskan bush people. It's fucking weird.
It's great.
But it's worth a watch. One thing I did see an advert for last night, if anybody's seen this, Please send me Instagram DM whatever and tell me if it's any good. What was it called? Is it Coke Bear?
Oh,
Cocaine
yeah.
Bear. That was it. Cocaine Bear. And it's like this picture of a bear that just looks wired. And you know that it's going to be some Colombian drug lord crashed in the woods in his plane and a bear found him first. And now the local campers are running away from this like feral bear that's just like, let's stay up all night and talk about things. Like, it's just, yeah.
That's just like a comedy film, though, isn't it?
I fucking hope it's a comedy. If it's a drama, a drama, then I'm going to be a little bit worried. But yeah, that one looks fucking funny. To be fair,
That what was it called? Similar thing. A load of people got dropped in Alaska, and those women were horrible.
let me Google that because that was the one where they had to do it in groups, right?
Yeah.
Alaskan survival TV show in groups. I can't remember the name of it. Outlast. That was it. Yeah, I've mentioned this on, I can't remember whose podcast it was with. But okay, premise of the game: a load of random people, some with survival wilderness backgrounds, some without, I guess, get dropped in the middle of Alaska. By the way, not in summer.
No.
It's like they time it just before winter. Like, haha, this will make good TV. You might die. That's basically what they're doing. And they get dropped into the middle of the wilderness with like a couple of supplies, like a pickaxe and first aid kit. Yeah, first aid kid. I said there.
Oh,
well, we're not drinking tonight, but I can't get my words out. And they have to form groups. They can't go it alone, so they have to be in groups. But there's literally a breakdown of how the show works. 16 survivalists are split into teams and placed in the Alaska wilderness. They must survive off the land with limited supplies and work together to survive for a cash prize. They can only leave the game by firing a flare gun, and the last remaining team of 2 or more wins the cash prize. So I think there was 2 seasons. Was it 2? It says here what they face: freezing temperatures, wet feet, which is trench foot and stuff, I guess, bears, rain, difficulty lighting a fire, which is it's crazy. Some of them took like 2-3 days to even get a fire going. Others did it in like minutes, which I definitely feel like is something we should learn to do just in case we ever need it.
Yeah.
But threats from other teams and temptation to defect to a stronger team. Now, those last 2 are what make this shit interesting.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think in both seasons, they kind of split into like 3 or 4 groups, don't they? It's not just 2. And over the course of, how long is it? How long are they doing it for? Like,
I don't really know, actually.
it's a couple of weeks, if not months.
Yeah. Probably a month.
Yeah, it's kind of like Bear Grylls The Island, isn't it? But in Alaska instead, which makes it a whole lot more brutal. But there's like fuck all food. That's what shocks me. Like, it's not like there's just bears and deer running everywhere and they can just have a big meal every day. They're literally going out to the sea, picking some cockles off a rock, cooking up a mushroom and sucking on a leaf. And they're like, dinner. It's just, that might be a little bit over the top, but it's pretty much that. But you were going to, I'll let you go on about this, the betrayal.
Oh, yeah. These 2 women. I hope they watch this back and go, we're horrible people.
What, the podcast or the show?
Both.
Yeah.
But yeah, spoiler alert. I can't remember which season it was in. But these 2 women went over to another camp. Bear in mind, it is freezing. And
Sorry, it wasn't the 2 women that went. They convinced the bloke in their team to do it for them. Do you remember?
oh yeah, they convinced them to go over and steal their sleeping bags
From another team.
another team. And I think the women then went over to like try and take a load of stuff from the camp because there was like one guy left in a camp or something like that. But she went to try and destroy what they'd built. Yeah. But just horrible. Why would you do that? You're all freezing, and I know they want to win money, but don't be a prick.
I think it's weird because you see how the human psyche works. You get some teams that are like, no, I'm going to do what the show says and just outlast all of the rest by playing a fair game, staying out the way, not getting involved in any bush politics and just surviving. And then you get the others that go, fuck this, we can speed this up by being the hyenas of the groups and doing shit like that.
It makes you wonder also, though, like, let's say that guy had a strong team. What lengths would they have gone to in the show?
Well, yeah, that is
Do you know
worrying.
what I mean? Like,
yeah.
would they have full on set fire to their camp and all sorts.
Who knows? But I don't want to spoil the end of it in terms of, because do you remember what the last, because obviously throughout the seasons they get given challenges. They're not very cheesy. Like, it's not like who can do 50 jumping jacks and climb a tree. It's more, we've left some crabbing pots in the middle of the river. You're going to have to somehow build a raft and get to it if you want easy food. That kind of stuff is a bit more interesting. But the last one was, you've basically got to trek like 50 kilometers or something across these mountains to get to the final thing, start a fire and blah, blah, blah. But then you've got the like bitchy group that don't communicate very well. And obviously when you're traveling over a long distance, there's not only fatigue from being out there for fucking weeks and tired, but there's, how do you deal with members of your team when something goes wrong? So, the navigation wasn't good. We went off track for an hour and now we're 2 hours off. And like they start arguing and it's all that kind of stuff. It's just, that's what captivates us, I think.
I think if you were actually there in real life, it must be really difficult because you don't know what the other teams are like, if they're stronger. If your team's okay, you're like, but is there a stronger team? Or if your team's pretty bad, you'd be like, I don't want to be on this team anymore. But I don't know what the other teams are like. So, and if I leave and I defect this team, I can't come back. So I have to hope that they take me. So, yeah, interesting. It was a good watch.
It was. There was another one that we need to watch.
Alone,
that was it, yeah. I think, I can't remember what that was on, whether it's Disney or whichever one it is, but we'll find it. Yeah, I think that's a bit of a roundup of the TV shows, isn't it, for 2024. There's probably more. If I've missed any, send me a message. I'll bring it up on the next one, because I feel like this is something that we can do quite easily because we live in the same house. We can do a periodic kind of wrap of what's been going on, but we'll get into news and stuff shortly. But we were going to talk about films, but we've not watched that many films, have we?
No, I'm not a film buff. And if you tell me people's names, I don't know who they are. And even when you tell me the title, I need you to explain what it is. So, yeah, the only film I've seen recently was Wicked, which I would happily go and watch again. It was a bit weird in the beginning because it was very fake. And maybe that's one thing I don't really like about musicals. Like, you wouldn't normally sit and talk to someone and then just burst into song. Although I will say that is my daily life. But yeah, it felt a bit fake in the beginning, and then I got into it and it was really good. So that's the only thing I can comment on, really. There's stuff we wanted to watch, like, was it called 62 with the dinosaurs?
Oh, that was like 2062. It's set in the future or something. But that's now come out on. That's something that's worth mentioning, because your mum and everyone were on about this the other day, how films nowadays don't last in the cinema for very long. It used to be that like Lord of the Rings had come out and that's it. It's in the cinema for 6 months before it even comes out on DVD. God, DVD. That's showing our age now, isn't it? But now it's in the cinema for a couple of weeks. And then that's it. It's on Disney. It's on Netflix.
I do wonder how they do well, because it is, you know, I wonder how that works with Netflix, like whatever you pay, £6 a month. How do you divide that with all the amount of shows that you watch?
Well, I think they're being clever because they probably know that not many people go to the cinema anymore, or at least a large proportion that used to don't bother anymore. And they go in, right, well, let's chuck it in the cinema for a bit. For the people that still love the event of going to the cinema, they'll go. We'll capture them, get their money, and then put it on Disney. Or it's a bidding war, isn't it? You say to Disney, Netflix, who wants the film? Who's going to bid the most?
Yeah.
That's kind of it. And to them, they just wash their hands of it. But that's why we're getting like 400 Star Wars now, because Disney bought it. But that's another one. Yesterday, I had to explain who Yoda was to you because I made a crappy joke about it. Another green man in a film, and then you went to watch Wicked. Green lady in a film. Maybe that's just the kind of films that you like.
Shrek, great film.
I mean, it is a good film, but not what I thought would be your type of film, to be honest. But right, so yeah, films we're not too switched on with. If anyone's got any points that we should raise about films, then let us know. I mean, there's been some crazy shit going on in the news.
There's always crazy shit.
Yeah.
Nothing nice happens in the news, and that's why I don't watch it. And most of it's lies. So that's what I'm saying.
I mean, you can say some of it's lies, but a health executive being murdered in the streets on CCTV, you can't really lie about that, can you?
I'm not going to lie. I don't really know much about this.
Should we do a quick, right? I don't know enough about it, but I've seen the videos and I've seen that kind of stuff. Let's chat GPT this.
What would we do without ChatGPT?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably one of the big things from 2024 that's changed for us. We use it all the time. Like ChatGPT is the new Google as far as I'm concerned, and it's faster and better and more useful.
Yeah.
But I mean, you use it for loads of stuff, don't you?
Do.
What kind of stuff?
Work. Mainly when I'm trying to plan my boot camps and what I want to do. Normally I'd sit there for hours, for like 5 hours trying to figure it out. And then you were like, why don't you use ChatGPT? I was like, oh yeah. Now it takes me about 5 minutes, so it's great. So what we're Googling, what happened to the health CEO?
See, out of habit there, you said, what are we Googling?
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's ChatGPT, yeah.
What happened to the health CEO who got murdered in America? Summarise shortly, please.
Right, so here we go. Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, was fatally shot on December 4th, 2024 in Midtown Manhattan. The assailant, identified as 26-year-old Luigi Maglioni, which, I mean, that sounds like a mafia hit, doesn't it? Although I find it strange that they knew who it was straight away, unless they've gone and searched the CCTV and literally followed his every move until they found out where he was. But I'll get some pictures of it up. I'm not going to put the video up because I don't want to make you have a sleepless night. But he's well covered up, like all over, hood up, you know, and it's weird that they just found him that fast, which is strange. But he was arrested 5 days later in Pennsylvania. He was an Ivy League graduate from a prominent Baltimore family, allegedly harbored grievances against the health insurance industry. He's been charged with multiple offences, including second-degree murder. How can it be second-degree murder when the video literally shows him walking up going, pow? Unless, let's finish this, and then I'm going to Google what the difference is. Thompson's death has intensified public scrutiny of the US healthcare system, highlighting widespread dissatisfaction with insurance practices. In response, the health group's leader, Andrew Whitty, acknowledged systemic flaws and emphasized the company's commitment to improving healthcare accessibility and affordability. So basically,
someone got scared. Andrew got scared and went, okay, I'll do a better job.
Yeah. And the CEO of United Healthcare was like, fuck you all, I'm going to make healthcare really expensive and not give you what you actually need for your illnesses. And Luigi was having none of it. Now, this is one of those, I think this is why it was such a controversial thing in the news. It was obviously right towards the end of 2024. So, yeah. But some people hailed him as a hero. Some people didn't. And I think that's because he's fighting for the little man. It's the Robin Hood kind of feel to it. But he's also just gone out there and committed murder. And that's not kind of how we deal with things. If that's how everybody deals with being pissed off about something, you're going to end up with a society that's much worse than someone that's just a bit pissed off about healthcare.
Do you know what? I just had a dark thought, but I'm going to say it out loud. So, obviously, murder is horrendous. No one should kill anyone. But why do murderers full on just, I don't know, kill their nan because they're angry? Why don't they do something useful and kill someone that is like a genuine problem to the world? Do you know what I'm saying?
Caveat for the podcast, Kate is not inciting violence in any way. She's
I'm
just
not. Do
saying,
not kill
isn't
anyone.
it ironic how...
Yeah,
Yes.
Why don't they do, at least be a helpful murderer?
Right, so I've just... Sorry, I am just... At least be a helpful murderer.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of... Well, if that comment itself makes people go, what the fuck, Kate? But really, if you think in the past, I'm talking like Colosseum days, like being a murderer at war for the Greeks or the Romans or something, you were useful. Being a murderer was for the right reasons. And I guess if you've got an army uniform on, I don't want to say that they
I feel
are.
like I'm going to get full on arrested for inciting violence. I don't think anyone should kill anybody or hurt anybody.
You're not.
I'm just saying.
Right, but more interestingly, to take us off that topic, the difference between first-degree murder and second-degree murder. So we've just found out that he's getting second degree. Let's say first degree, premeditation. It was premeditated, meaning it was planned or thought out beforehand. He intended to kill them, and examples are assassinations, poisoning, or killing someone. Usually carries out more severe penalties. Second-degree murder, no premeditation. It's intentional but not premeditated. It happened in the heat of the moment without prior planning. Now, the thing that pisses me off about that, he's going down for second-degree murder, but he marked the bullets with names on them.
Oh, well.
So I can't, let's just ask it about that. Hang on.
Imagine you got it in the wrong order. Like, oh, that bullet said Tony. It went in Brian.
Ends up sounding... Give it back. Can I just get some
back.
tweezers
Did
out?
it wrong, man.
We shouldn't joke about this.
No, we shouldn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I've just said, didn't he mark the bullets? It said, yes, the bullets and shell casings used in the murder of Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, were marked with the words delay, deny, depose. These inscriptions are believed to reference common practices in the insurance industry, potentially indicating the shooter's motive. So not just his motive, the premeditation, that's first-degree murder.
Yeah.
Like, it's just some sketchy Harvey Specter shit going on there. Like, but, I mean, that's some wild shit, really.
Suspicious.
It's not even suspicious. I mean, let's get a picture of it up. United.
You have so many tabs open.
Listen, right. You want to get on with...
I'll clean my tabs out. Thank you very much.
For the first time in like 3 years.
So?
You turned your laptop off for the first time in about 3 years as well. Like, you're
It's
asking me why software
hard.
wasn't working. I was going, because it's dying. Like, you need to let it rest. But,
It help.
right. United Healthcare assassination. Let's get an image of him. Yeah.
You know what's also crazy? You can just watch people die on YouTube. Like, they'll just film it. I know they'll blur stuff out, but it's like, why do we live in a world where you can just watch somebody else die? Why is that allowed on the internet?
I think you're treading a fine line there. I don't think it should be there, but there is an element of once you say that, no, that's not what we're going to have online anywhere, you then open up the doors to complete censorship. And the only thing you can look at is butterflies and rabbits. Which, as much as that's also probably quite nice, give them an inch, they'll take a mile. Let them control one end of it, which is probably the issue that Elon Musk's been in for the past year. He's got Twitter now, and he's trying to make it, freedom of speech. But there's loads of controversy about that. Like, obviously, my dad, when he comes and does a podcast, he's like, the CEO of Twitter or someone that Musk has hired is part of the World Health Organization. Or, no, it's not a World Health Organization, it's World Economic Forum. And he's going, why has he appointed someone from there into this? But, I mean, they're saying he's bought America now, aren't they?
Oh, I don't know.
Pretty much, because he got involved in the politics and the elections, and now he's a massive influence in American politics, which is where you really want to be. You don't want to be the president in the face of it all.
Yeah.
You want to be the one pulling the strings in the background, don't you? But let's talk about that. We looked at how many people Biden had pardoned.
Yeah, what's it, like 8,000?
Fuck, let's just get that up. Right.
I think like Bush had pardoned 800.
Comparison of how many, I can't spell, people presidents have pardoned. Okay. So Bill Clinton, we've got 459, which to me is still quite a lot.
Yeah.
I thought that presidents could go, there's these 2 or 3 people, they've been my mates for fucking ages, let them off. It was just a bit of weed, let's go. I thought it was just something like that, not, George W. Bush, want to pardon 200 people before I come out of office. But then, wait, no, Barack Obama, 1,927. Now, I don't know who these people are. They could all be wrongly incarcerated people.
And how does it work? Do all these cases and lawyers come up and plead their case like, this guy did an armed robbery when he was 20 and now he's 56? So
let's ask ChatGPT. When pardoned by a president in America, what happens? Do you get let go? I guess that's what we were asking, wasn't it? Mm. Okay, so a presidential pardon in the United States is a legal act that forgives a person for a federal crime, but its effects depend on the circumstances. Legal forgiveness, they're absolved of their federal crime they were convicted of. it restores certain civil rights like the right to vote or hold public office, which may have been lost due to the conviction. Released from custody. So yeah, some people get released after they've been pardoned, but it only applies to federal offences, not state crimes. Record not expunged. A pardon does not erase the conviction from the individual's criminal records.
Which is good.
Yeah, you still want to know. No admission of guilt. Accepting a pardon is not necessarily an admission of guilt, although courts have sometimes interpreted it this way, which is fucked up.
Do we have that in the UK?
No, not really. I guess let's ask, because we obviously have a monarchy with a queen or king now. Fucking hell. They might be able to pardon stuff because they'll like knight people, won't they?
Chat GPT. I want to know.
Do we have a similar thing in the UK? Let's just fucking ask that. Yes, the UK has a similar concept to a pardon, though it works differently and is less common. The equivalent would be a royal pardon. Obviously, we have to call it royal. Issued by the king or queen, often on the advice of government ministers.
Oh yeah, my mate Dave getting a bit of bother here.
He was selling some dodgy boxes out of his van, but the king stopped by and just said, "Don't worry about it, have a cup of tea." Like, I don't know why they're from fucking London, but it just felt right. Royal pardon forgives someone for their crime that they were convicted of and can remove and reduce the penalties associated with the conviction. However, it doesn't overturn the conviction or declare the person innocent. Which sounds more like what I thought it was. Like it could be someone kind of on the fence about a murder, and then the king steps in and just goes, "Stop being silly." I don't feel like the monarchy are a lot more about prestige, aren't they? And I feel like they're going to want to stay out of it. They're going to go, "That's for the courts to decide. That's for them to deal with. Leave us out of it. Prim, proper, ivory tower, la la la."
I'd love to know what the king does in a day, or the queen did in a day.
I bet they have loads of fun.
But they have so much cake. I'd love that job.
Let's have a look.
I could speak posh for cake.
You can speak posh for cake.
Oh, Deirdre, pass the sponge.
Right, I mean, who the fuck is Deirdre? Right, so let's just go back to the list we had. So George W. Bush, 77, it says here, but it was 100 on the other page. All right, it's close enough. Bill Clinton. Oh no, that was
wrong
Bush's,
Bush, love.
Wrong Bush.
Wrong Bush, love.
Fucking, I hate when that happens. So, all right, Bush's dad, 77. George W. Bush, who we know, 200. Bill Clinton, just before him, 459. We're creeping up. Barack Obama, 1,927. Which... I've just read something. Okay, so Donald Trump, when he was last in power, 237. And it says here, the following are the most notable instances. And there's a couple of names I'm not really sure of. But it says, Trump has also pardoned Lil Wayne and Kodak Black for weapon and drugs charges. I mean...
High five.
I mean, it's quite funny. I mean, he probably shouldn't for that. But it's definitely... It sounds bad. It's him getting votes.
Yeah.
He's going, if I pardon these people, the people that like Lil Wayne will get on my side. You know what I mean? The youth, as they call it. But, right. So Donald Trump, 237. Do we have any guesses for Joe Biden? I mean, me and you can see the screen, but let's leave a little pause to let people fucking have a guess. That also shows our age that we know. Actually, no, that could be 8 out of 10 cats does countdown, couldn't it? Yeah. So Joe Biden with a humongous 8,064.
One of those being his son.
Yeah.
Surely that should be illegal.
The thing is, we've spoke about this before, haven't we? He's not all there, and it's kind of sad now that he's still in power. They should have let him retire or whatever a long time ago. But the people that work with him, they're the ones that are pulling the strings and running the ship. He's just like a face that they put on the stage every now and then, like, just don't say bad things. And as soon as he steps down, whoever comes into power next, not necessarily Trump who's in power, but the next person, their candidate or whatever it's called, they get to choose a whole new team. So all the people that work with Biden are just going to lose their jobs. So that's why they've not let it happen yet. That's why they've not let him go. So do you think that all 8,064 are people that Joe's gone, yeah, do you know what? Let's pardon them. Nah.
He's not even cognitive to put a sentence together, so...
Wait, it's more the people that work with him are going, this is our last chance. We've got like 3 weeks left. Pardon my mate Dave. All right, that's a really basic view of it. But it's probably them going, fuck, we're going to be out of a job. Let's get the last few bits done, even if it looks stupid. 8,000. Has there ever been a president? Let's scroll back. Anyone that's got close. Franklin D. Roosevelt got 3,687 people. That is... Oh, okay. Andrew Johnson, 7,654.
But, when was he the president?
Well, it says here, thousands of pardons for ex-Confederates. I think that was during their Civil War. So he's kind of gone, you're from the other side. Technically, you're a criminal, but we're trying this new thing, peace, So he's probably done it for that reason.
But literally nobody else.
George Washington, the founder of it all, 16. And that was literally just his mates.
Yep. Oh, there's someone. None. William Harrison and James
Willie Harrison and James G were not having any of it. Oh, fuck it, you can all rot in there. Anyway, we've cut off piste a little bit there, but so Joe Biden, he's going. Trump's coming back. It's going to be an interesting fucking year for American politics, but also for UK politics. Have you heard that Musk is asking for Nigel Farage to step down as the leader of the Reform Party?
No.
Now, I don't really talk about the Reform Party that much on these podcasts, just because I'm worried that my dad will go off on one. But I think me and you have watched some of their promotional videos and stuff before and just gone, what the fuck? Like, firstly, it looks like a B-Tech video project.
Yeah.
And it's fucking awful. But also, it's cheap and nasty kind of ways of just winning votes. It's terrible. But I do find it interesting that the places that they won, their kind of, what do you call it, local council votes, whatever, are the places that tend to be having the worst issues with migrants. Now, I'm staying out of this topic of whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. For now, it's not something I should have an opinion on. I don't care what people think is good or bad. But it's interesting that those are the places that voted for it because that it's in their face. It's important to them now. It's like what's happening in, where is it, the fires at the minute?
LA.
Yeah, the fires in LA. We watch it and we all scroll on TikTok and go, oh, that's really bad, that. And then if it was in our street, like you said earlier, what would you do if it was like here? Fuck. You're suddenly like, okay, let's do something. So it is interesting that that's happened. So sorry, I keep fiddling with my hands and Case just told me not to mess with the Allen key that's in front of me.
So I gave him a hair bubble.
Give me a hair bubble to fidget with. So I feel like Musk looks at our parties and goes, Conservative, they had a good run. A lot of people don't like them, blah, blah, blah. Labour, same kind of thing. They've always been at each other's necks because they only have two in America, don't they? And here we've got a couple of different ones. I think he's looked at Reform and gone, some of their values align with Trump's values. But as a leader, Farage looks too much like a melted frog and should step down.
Also, he is just a massive racist, let's face it.
Yeah, well, this is kind of the issue I'm trying to dance around because I can't be asked to talk about racism and stuff on this podcast, but it's the long and short of it. And I think Musk sees it and goes, we need a better person to represent these views so that Trump and the Reform Party can align over the next few years. Because Nigel Farage said himself, I'll be Prime Minister in 2029. So the last election, he wasn't even gunning for it. I don't think he was thinking he's going to get anywhere near it. He knew he wasn't, but he got so many seats in the House. And he knows that this is a bit of a snowball effect, isn't it? Over the next 4 years, if they just shit on whoever won, like, oh, I can't believe the Labour have done this now. Oh, they promised you this. They haven't. It's the usual shit you see in the media. And then eventually he's going to go, I can do it better. But Musk doesn't want him doing it.
How does that work, though? Because he's not even in the UK.
Because you've got to think of it from like a larger viewpoint, haven't you? you've got America, one of the strongholds of the world, but then you've got China, you've got Russia, and then you've got the Middle East. You've got all these different kind of large players of the game. The UK is, but only because of its affiliations with other places. Because when you look at it on a map, obviously scale-wise, we're not that big. Our army's not that big, which is why America being part of NATO is very important because they're huge. Without America, NATO's not. I mean, it is still, it's something to be reckoned with, but there's all that kind of politics that goes on. So Musk is probably thinking of a larger game here. Who fucking knows? But he's an alien. Put it that way. I was going to say, let's quickly go, because, we set up like a joint Instagram chat for both of us. We send some weird shit to each other. Let's go and have a look and see what we've got. Right, I mean, first thing off the bat, I've got here, I found a video the other day of, it's a motorbike engine that is made using variable field magnet motors. Look at that. It looks like some Tron shit.
That does look like some Tron shit.
Yeah, I sent it to Haid because he's the only other like engineering person I know, but it looks insane. Master.engineering, the pages, variable field magnet motors. If they become a thing, it's genius. It's using the polarity, I think, of the magnets to actually run the wheel, which is genius. It's fucking free energy.
I definitely think there are some awesome free energy things out there that have been,
squashed.
Yeah,
we were talking about this.
Water and free water and all of that stuff.
But well, we've spoken about it before, haven't we? Like the cars that run off fucking fish oil or water or something, and then conveniently a week later they're dead.
Yep. Hit
by a car or something. Like it's too convenient. Right. How about this for a theory then? Let me make sure it's turned down. A bloke, basically, he got a submarine, or he was a rich bloke. He created a submarine that could go to extreme depths, unmanned, so there's no human in it. But he wanted to see what was going on about the ocean floor. He wanted to know more about it. And then apparently he got to the bottom of the ocean floor and it went through like a portal and came out the other side. Now, this is fucking wild, but it's a cool theory. As in, it wasn't like a portal, but as you think you're about to touch the floor, you actually go through and then you're upside down. Kind of like the concept of the Australians
which we
the other way around.
Which we have heard before, because wasn't there that guy who found what looked like a lake in the ocean?
Yeah, that's this video.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the video. I was like, oh, hang on, let me skip through it.
The thing is, though, that's just like an AI creative video, isn't it? It's not his video.
But it's just kind of envisioning what was described. AI's just
I would
doing
say
it.
That would be interesting to investigate further, in that if he's got all this money to create that, surely he can take pictures and videos, because how else would he have seen it? So where's that video?
Yeah, but I mean, it's all in good time, isn't it? A valid point got made on, I can't remember what podcast it was I was watching the other day, where everyone's always going, oh, if it's true, why isn't there more videos of it, considering we've all got incredible cameras on our phones now? But all this drone shit that's been going on in America, have you seen what's going on with that?
Not really.
Hang on. Let's have a look. I'm going to leave that up. Let's just Google this. I think it's in Jersey. What the fuck has been going on in Jersey, America, with all the drones? Because I swear there's so much we could talk about with this. I keep moving away from the mic, but they're definitely nicer. Yeah. Okay. Since mid-November 2024, numerous drone sightings have been reported across New Jersey and other parts of the northeastern United States. They've raised public concern and prompted investigations by federal and local authorities. Initial sightings first emerged around November 18th. They've expanded to multiple counties, New Jersey, neighboring states, New York and Pennsylvania. They've been observed over residential areas, critical infrastructure and sensitive sites such as military bases and nuclear power plants. Notably, sightings have occurred near the Picatinny Arsenal and President-elect Donald Trump's golf course in Bedminster, which is some fucking weird shit. Public concern. The unexplained nature of the drones has led to public unease. Residents describe the drones as menacing and creepy. What the fuck? The government response, which is the interesting bit, the Federal Aviation Administration imposed a temporary flight restriction over critical infrastructure areas effective until January 17th. Non-compliance could result in enforcement actions.
I.e., if you are from this planet, you know about the restriction.
Well, I mean, we'll go into this in a sec. Federal authorities, including the FBI and Department of Homeland Security, are investigating the sightings. Preliminary findings suggest that many reported drones may actually be misidentified manned aircraft or lawful drone operations. As of now, there is no evidence indicating criminal activity, national security threats, or involvement by foreign actors. In summary, the surge in drone sightings has been a public concern. Investigations to date have not uncovered any malicious intent or threats to public safety. Authorities continue to monitor the situation and are working to improve drone detection and identification capabilities. Right. So, them saying, oh, yeah, there's a flight ban until January 17th, but they've also admitted that they're not too aware of what it is. They're going, it's not us, but we're not aware that it's like anyone else.
I feel they're slowly... I feel like they've known about it for a long time, but they're just slowly like, oh, there's a drone sighting. We don't know what it is. Oh, this is Bob, the alien. He's popped down a few times.
That's exactly what people have been saying, that it's better to ease somebody into the idea of it than to just go, here's an alien.
And to call it a drone rather than a...
Yeah, definitely. But I think I've seen some videos online as well. One bloke who apparently creates like military grade drones, and he's like one of the engineers that makes them. And he was saying there's no way that it's possible. The stuff that these videos are showing that they're doing, we can't make that yet. But I mean, if he's just talking about it on TikTok, he's probably not the actual government person making drones for them, is he? He's not the one in the secret basement in Area 51 or something that is like reverse engineering alien tech or something to figure out how it works.
I think that's the problem with most things. Like someone says something and then someone will go, oh, I don't know him, that seems legit. No one actually researches all these people and dissects a lot of things, because that could be a full-time job, couldn't it? The amount of stuff that's everywhere.
Exactly. Now, I've just got up the conversation with you and the podcast page, and let's have a look. There's so many on here. Fucking hell, you sent loads. Let's work our way backwards. This is an Andrew Huberman shout out. He's always got some interesting shit. So
he knows things.
Your brain's secret weapon. I can't even read what he's just said there.
Play it out loud.
Yeah, can I do that?
Yeah,
of course I can.
But there's a brain structure called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. But what's interesting about this brain area is there are now a lot of data in humans, that's a mouse study, showing that when people do something they don't want to do, like add 3 hours of exercise per day or per week, or when people who are trying to diet and lose weight resist eating something, right? When people do anything that they, and this is the important part, that they don't want to do. Right. It's not about adding more work. It's about adding more work that you don't want to do. Yes. This brain area gets bigger. Yep. Now, here's what's especially interesting about this brain area to me. The anterior mid-cingulate cortex is smaller in obese people. It gets bigger when they diet. It's larger in athletes. It's especially large or grows larger in people that see themselves as challenged and overcome some challenge. Right. And in people that live a very long time, this area keeps its size. In many ways, scientists are starting to think of the anterior mid-cingulate cortex not just as one of the seats of willpower, right, but perhaps actually the seat of the will to live. People don't know this.
Right. Whoa.
That music was like...
Yeah, you were just warming out to the music, to be fair, but that's interesting.
Interestingly, I did a workout earlier. After doing the first workout in a long time yesterday, and my entire body hurting. But I was doing it thinking, because I was doing, what is it, like squat lunges, whatever they're called. Not that. That's two different things mixed together. And it really hurt. And in my brain, I was like, I'm doing something I don't want to do. My brain bit's getting bigger.
Your brain bit's getting
I
bigger.
can't remember what it's called, but that is literally what I thought as I was doing. Like I don't want to do it, but I'm going to keep doing it. And I actually felt like quite empowered for a minute. Like it's painful, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do all 10.
Yeah. But I think that's it. Everyone needs that kind of fire. But when you get gratification on like a neurological level, like we're obviously oblivious to actually happening, but it must be happening. It makes us feel good. All we know of is we describe it as I feel good, but really that's probably what's happening. That fucking whatever he's just called it in our brains is getting bigger and it feels nice and that makes us feel good. But
I think there's so much about our brain that we don't know. Like, you know how they talk a lot about telepathy? I'm going to sound a bit kooky here, but like any person that said, oh, I've seen an alien, they're like, oh, they didn't talk to me. I could speak to them in my brain. But then there was a thing about kids with autism that were non-verbal and they'd put their parents in a different room. This was quite a recent study. And they'd show images to the parent and the child with autism like knew what they were looking at.
yeah,
Whether it was, I don't know, a flower
I've
or
heard stories
whatever.
like that.
And I do think I'd love to know 100 years from now what, I feel like they know a lot and they don't tell us, but what we found out about the brain. And I would imagine we all live quite different lives. Our lives at the minute are just crazy. They're like 90% work. It's just not, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting thing to move on to, really, because obviously this is the end of 2024, start of 2025 thing. And just as like a brief explanation, what me and Kay like to do is kind of sit down at the beginning of each year and discuss individual goals, but goals that as a couple we need to achieve, like, oh, make sure that everything's paid for, but other things we'd like to do, but also think about what it is that makes us happy. Like for me, yeah, I'll listen to a podcast or play a guitar for a bit. That's what makes me switch off and what makes me happy. But the thing we both battle with is work. And it's easy to go, oh, it'd be much nicer if we all didn't have to work. But then you're heading down the World Economic Forum route of you will own nothing and be happy about it. We'll just give you a salary each month and you'll work in the factory or you won't even work. So it's finding that balance that I think is hard for everyone.
But I think what would happen from that would be people would have the brain space to go, oh, what do I want to do? I think people would work, but they wouldn't feel like work because you'd start doing stuff you love. Like maybe there's someone out there who, I don't know, works, whether it's a high up job and he's a CEO of something, or I don't know, they work in Audi on the till, but actually they got an amazing gift for art or carpentry, and actually they'd be awesome at making stuff for people and carving wood. And do you know what I mean? Like you'd look at your life differently if you had more time. You'd do so much stuff differently with your working week, and you'd probably achieve wonderful things and be happy doing it in the process.
Well, that's kind of, that's why we do that at the beginning of every year, though, isn't it? Because the idea of us not having to work as much isn't realistic at the minute. So we're kind of going, well, how do we make the most of the other time we have, but not burn out? That's the hard thing, really. But interesting thing for everyone who's listening to this to think about, really. But then I think the main thing I've learned as well is not to beat yourself up if you don't start ticking some of them off. It's just a case of try and achieve them, because by trying to achieve it, you might get halfway there, but that's still halfway more than if you weren't even aware of the goal itself. You just kind of had it as an idea. It's just ideas are just dreams until you make them goals, that kind of thing. But who knows? I've just found another video that you've sent, and I kind of want to play it through. I think because I remember this one coming and thinking, what the fuck? But, right.
One component, which essentially is what I discovered, if you project a diffracted laser on the surface, which just means a band of the laser, just like the thing that scans barcodes in a supermarket, and you smoke DMT, you will see code running in the surface that you're projecting the laser on. And this basically is the same for every single person. They see, in the beginning, they kind of see similar, like they see some structures, they see some movement, they see something kind of like there. But then eventually they drop into the space where they just see the same thing. And we can sit in a room. I had 15 people in a room at the same time, talking about it, pointing to it. You can literally talk about it like you talk about a regular object in a room. This is how coherent it is. That's the gist of what I found.
And how many people have you shown this to that have seen it?
Me personally, hundreds of people, at least over 1,000. I just want it to be, as concrete as possible. So I counted. I'm pretty sure there's like, at this point, it's kind of like this little subcultural thing, and people there's communities that are forming around it. People kind of talk about it, all that stuff.
So, I mean, when you sent me that, I was like, fuck off, that can't be real. But I feel like we need to get Matty back on to speak about this, because what they're essentially saying is take a laser, that's just a normal kind of laser pen kind of beam, diffract it so that it splays out again a bit. I think that's what they mean. But smoke a bit of DMT and everybody sees code in the laser.
It would be interesting if, let's say, that code was stationary in the laser. If you asked all those people to read the numbers in the code, like.
Well, that's what he's saying. He's saying because you diffract it, it kind of becomes a bit of an umbrella. And he's saying that in that kind of diffracted light, you can see the code. And he says in that, sit 15 people in a room, all 15 of them can point to the same thing. It's not like they're all seeing different types of code. They're all going, can you see that ABAY over there? And they're going, yeah, it's there. And they're watching it move. Like, he's saying they're seeing the same thing.
Is he saying that? Is he saying they can all see code or all the same code?
No, because that's what he's saying. He's saying that it takes them a while. Some people only see it a little bit. Then after a while, they kind of this kind of click moment, and then they all sit in a room and they can look at it and point at it and point out certain things about it as if you were just looking at an object. Like if I held up an apple and went, how many leaves are coming out the top of it, and they could go 2, that kind of thing. Which is fucking weird. The Matrix is real.
Yeah. But I don't feel like simulation.
It does make you think, I don't feel like a simulation, but it does make you think of other concepts. Telepathy. We've mentioned that in the past, haven't we? But DMT is obviously doing something to your brain. It's just a drug. If you think about it, it's something that alters how your brain works, that makes you see certain things. But if you can then all see the same thing, then it's all this kind of loaded language that people use, like a heightened state, isn't it? And if that's the case, then surely if we then get to this state, me and you at the same time, and we have access to it's like a cloud network, we can both see something that everyone else can't. Do you think we'll evolve to be able to do that without the need for the drug? Because it's obviously possible, just like growing a thumb wasn't possible, but we needed it to hold tools and become like cavemen, and like evolve that way. Is it something that eventually happens?
Well, it's like, what was it? It's left my brain.
What are you thinking of, like telepathy or?
I don't know. We're talking about code. You could just cut this long pause out.
No, that's all right. I mean, I was thinking about it the other day. This is weird, but I don't know if it's a bit too wild to discuss on the podcast. But it's a weird theory, though. So people might find interesting. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm the one that's come up with this, because I've always thought it. I've always felt like, that could be interesting. But then I've heard other people say it. So I'm like, okay, it's not just me that thinks it could be an interesting concept. But I think me and you have spoken about it before. The phenomenon that when people are on the brink of death, they all say they're seeing the tunnel and the light at the end of the tunnel, that kind of thing.
They have a bit of a weird story. Oh, I know what I was going to say.
Okay.
I was going to say, how they can connect people's dreams now, can't they? And you can dream in the dream.
Yeah.
Or have the same dream.
Like Inception.
Together, yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff coming out now about if you, obviously, how you keep a diary and you can train yourself to lucid dream. But then if you're able to lucid dream, then you can do that stuff like be in somebody else's dream. And they've got some, I don't know if it's true because, being honest, I saw it on an Instagram reel, that machine that you can hook yourself up to, but it wouldn't surprise me. But once they get good at that, you get to a point where nobody's free anymore, because if they can read your dreams and they can use a robot laser scanning thing on your face to see if you're lying about anything, that's it. You're not free to choose whether you tell someone something or not. You know.
Well, it's like sometimes you'll get cookies on your phone and get those adverts for something that you've spoken about.
The fat boy in me just heard cookie then and got excited. That's really bad. Sorry.
And sometimes it might be things that you think. Like they can actually read stuff like that now. Can't remember what I saw it on. But yeah, that's pretty scary stuff.
It is. To finish off my theory.
Sorry. Yes.
That's all right. Now, I've always thought, well, wouldn't it be interesting if, yes, when they're seeing this light at the end of the tunnel, I mean, that's a segment to talk about another day, the phenomenon of what people say happened to them when they died and then they come back, you know, and they kind of like die for half an hour on an operating table and come back. They're like, oh my God, I've lived a whole separate life. All those kind of stories are really weird and we should bring some with us next time. But wouldn't it be weird if the concept of seeing a light at the end of the tunnel is actually you witnessing your next life, as in you're about to be born somewhere else in a hospital, I don't know, other side of the world, and you're about to be born, like, oh my God. And that's the tunnel, that's the light you're seeing as you exit the womb, if you know what I mean. It's always been an interesting theory. And I'm cautious because it leans into that kind of David Icke mentality of we are containers of souls, you know, and we just swap all the time. The soul just moves to the next container when you die and all these experiences. But the thing that this is the kind of crap that I daydream about when I'm driving back from work or something, I'm sat in traffic. Wouldn't it be interesting if that was the case, you take the experiences from that life with you, and then you're kind of an aged soul or an experienced soul, you know, you've seen lots of things. You obviously don't remember them as memories, but you remember them as kind of emotions and how you react to things. And it would be interesting if animals are included in that as well, because you know how some people say so and so passed away, but now this ginger cat comes by the house every day at exactly the same time he'd go out and get the paper, you know, that kind of weird shit that happens.
Yeah.
But as well as that, people who had traumatic experiences in life, do you think that's because in their, let's say, previous container, inverted commas, in the life before, something really bad happened and they've brought that with them? And like kind of people that end up with schizophrenia and like serious mental issues, it's because of a constant bad experience before they move to the next container, like doubled up, tripled up, and it just happened too many times in a row.
I think that's difficult because like
Firstly, can I say thank you for not just going, you're fucking batshit crazy, shut the fuck up.
Listen, I live with you, so I know all about you. Like my life wasn't anywhere near as horrific as some people's could be, but it wasn't nice. It wasn't a happy home, let's say. And I could have been a completely different person to what I am. And definitely there was a journey of like teenage years and growing up and stuff. But I definitely think that some things are a choice. Some things aren't a choice. Like there's some people that I know that I teach that had awful upbringings, and it has impacted them as a fully grown adult. Like they can't function like you and I as easily. They can't live by themselves and, you know, look after themselves well. And is it their fault that they got given those parents? No. And actually, I do absolutely think that, like someone that I'm thinking of in particular, if they weren't perhaps such a shell of a human, like as socially capable, I guess, as you and I, as an adult, that they could do irreparable harm to somebody and end up in jail for doing something horrific because they don't know. If you opened that door, that's a big kind of spiral of
Yeah.
it's so much horribleness that I don't think mentally that they could cope with that and not know what to do and go into this spiral of a dark place. I don't know. I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I'm like, everyone has a choice. But one thing you don't have the choice of is what your parents are like and what your upbringing is like to a certain age where, you know, you depend on them to survive.
I'm not saying that you're not a product of your surroundings and your upbringing. Everyone is. You know, like my dad loved crisps. That's, you know, and now I've got an absolute terrible addiction to crisps.
I had a hard laugh. My dad loves crisps.
Okay, it's not quite a comparison. I'm just saying, obviously, there is easier ways to explain that you're a product of your surroundings. But do you not think that there could be some things that come from a previous life?
Yeah.
No, I mean that's supposing that the original concept's true. You know, the light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing. But I don't know. I find it weird, and I think we should consider more of these kind of weird things and bring it with us.
Or maybe the idea of a soul is that we go through life on these different quests on purpose. Like this life, you're going to have a horrible life. Next life, you'll have an amazing life. The life after that, you'll have, I don't know, maybe some trouble and strife, but it's not too bad. You make it through, and all of these different lives perhaps build you as a character, but you have to go through all of them to be, like, you have to pass each level to become the ultimate soul.
But that is literally the David Icke mentality.
Oh.
But there was a video that he showed. I can't remember the bloke's name. Yeah, Bob Lazar. Yeah, Joe Rogan fucking loves him.
I was going to say about Bob Lazar.
But he's the one that mentions that concept of we're containers.
Yeah.
And then David Icke says it as well. And you know when you're like, these are all just fucking kooky alien people, lizards, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, but they can't all be wrong. I mean, I'm not saying Scientology is
David
right,
Icke,
but...
probably wrong. Bob Lazar actually worked in Area 51. So.
But did it? I mean, he says he did, and he walked around the place and named all the security guards and like, oh, Dave, like, that kind of stuff, which is very clever.
I feel like we're giving Dave a bad name here.
Yeah, it was Bob. I don't know. We'll pick another name.
Jerry.
Oh, Gary.
Jerry.
Graham.
Alan.
Yeah. But yeah, you just kind of go, well, maybe I'm not bonkers for thinking like that, but I'm also kind of the opinion that at the minute I'm not very religious. When you die, you end up in a hole in the ground. That's it. You better have had a good one. But I think it's interesting that a lot of people get to an age where they're about to meet their maker, however you want to call it, and suddenly become religious because it's better to potentially believe in something than to not at all. And I think it's such a weird way for the human mind to work. You know, panic last minute, suddenly believe. Like it's weird. And then you got some people that are devout for their whole life, and it's a strange topic. But anyway, other little weird conspiracy theories. There was one that I scrolled past, which was you sent me a video saying that the Eiffel Tower wasn't built to look pretty. It was a side project where Nikola Tesla would pop by every now and then, and they were using it for big EMP pulses in the sky to try and get free electricity. Love the idea of that being true.
Yeah.
But
I could see that.
Whether, I mean, it does, it's a giant metal antenna. When you look at it, you kind of go, oh yeah. Like, why wouldn't they? When they were building it, people reported seeing lightning strikes coming out the top of it, which could just be, well, a storm came over the top. It's a really close piece of metal. It happens. But I feel like there was a film, I'm not sure if that was this year or the year before, the Tesla film, wasn't there? Edison and Tesla.
Oh, yeah.
I never watched it, but I was kind of keen to watch that.
We could dig that out.
We could dig at that. Do you know what we should end on? Because I'm thinking it's been about an hour and a half. It's gone pretty fast, actually, considering we both sat down and we were like, I can't remember fuck all that happened in 2024.
Oh, I survived.
But it's actually. What's his name? Stephen Wilson Jr., is that it? I'm going to have to Google it quick. But I think that was probably one of the highlights of, was it 2024 or technically the beginning of 2025?
I am only thinking of David Wilson Holmes, so I don't actually know what you're talking about. Oh, yeah.
Stephen Wilson Jr.
His song.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a cover of that.
Well, yeah, this is obviously over the next year, I'm going to encourage and try and get as many people on as I can that are conspiracy theorists. I mean, if they're completely bonkers, I'm not going to invite them to the house. You know, we'll take the equipment somewhere neutral, like a field in the dark, see if any UFOs come over.
You can go by yourself.
Oh, thanks. Just leave me out there to get okay. But yeah, I'm also going to try and get, I don't know, some kind of academic side of things for people to argue against it. A mixture of things, but I'm also going to lean on the musical side because for me and you, this is a musical house, and nothing kind of get me that tingle in my balls more about the concept of doing like a live lounge thing with the podcast than when we watched this. And it was Stephen Wilson Jr. playing I'm a Song. Like, let's be really, really mean for a second. It's a bit of a face for the radio. But when it comes to songwriting, incredible songwriter. I think he's kind of done the circuit in Texas because they have a load of bars around there where songwriters just meet up and do like open mics, not because they want to be famous, but because they want to show the songs they've written to sell to country artists and stuff. I think he was one of them. I think they're keeping it quiet, but I did a little bit of reading. I think he is because he's written a lot of songs for the people, I think. So I think he is a songwriter, but I think he's made the leap to start doing it himself now. And the I'm a Song, there's not actually a studio version of it released yet. He's only done some live version. I think one of them's Print Shop, and I mean, we saw it on the Bert Kreischer podcast, I think it was. That's the clip we saw. But it's one of the only songs in the past year, I'd say, that I started watching it. You walked in the room and just sat next to me and just stopped. And we just watched it like, holy shit. Like, it might not be everyone's cup of tea. It's an acoustic song, you know, and some people like drum and bass. Like the Avicii documentary that we watched yesterday, that's great on Netflix. That's a whole new side of the EDM world that no one thinks about.
I cried.
You did cry. I mean,
I cry at everything.
I didn't realise that it was suicide, to be honest.
I didn't.
No.
I couldn't remember. I thought he took too many pills by accident.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What was it? He said he was going to the Oman, and I mean, it sounds sketchy. Suicide with a wine bottle. Yeah. But I mean, I don't want to discredit it because, I mean, his family are probably out there going, how dare you question whether it, but it's such a hush-hush thing, which is probably because they just want privacy, but it was such a shock. For me, I mean, I wasn't a massive Avicii fan, but just watching the documentary for an hour and a half, it was a shock at the end of it, let alone someone who'd followed him through his whole career. Like,
I think, though, he did make absolutely banging tunes. And whether they were your cup of tea or not, they were catchy. They were brilliant in that way.
Yeah.
But he was so young, and you could tell, I mean, watching the documentary and how like skinny he got, and obviously had a problem with drink and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just the whole thing's really sad.
But he was also from Stockholm, and I swear they put something in the fucking water out there because everybody, that sounded really aggressive.
That was very
didn't it?
aggressive.
It was aggressive, but I'm talking more, the Swedes just for some reason can write amazing music. Whether they perform it themselves or not, there's just something about that. It must be their culture and their folklore music and stuff that they're brought up with, but there's something about it, the fact that he's Swedish. But you're right, every one of his was a banger. I didn't realise how many I knew until we were watching the documentary, and I was going, oh shit, yeah, I know all of those words. I know that one.
And it's probably because that came out in an era where it was past our clubbing days. So there'll definitely be people who are like, oh yeah, these were my clubbing tunes.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, we're like, oh, they're really catchy. And maybe I was just singing them in a function band and we'd hear them on the radio.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, for me, I'm like, oh yeah, Benga, Chase and Status. They're probably going to go, who?
Yeah.
Who? Is that on tape? So I'm going, okay. But yeah, anyway, just as an end, I'm not going to play the song because there's probably some copyright issue there, but I definitely say go have a listen to it.
As a vocal coach, there's so many things that irritate me and that are technically incorrect. Like, he does not open his mouth hardly at all.
He doesn't, no.
The diction sometimes is like, what is he kind of saying there? You have to really pay attention, obviously, because he's not opening his mouth. But something about that song, that the words are beautiful. Somehow how he's singing it is beautiful, even though like technically I'd say it's all very kind of incorrect, but it's great.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
It does. I think the background to it, he says that it's his dad's favorite song
That he ever wrote. Yeah.
that he ever wrote. So his dad's not saying, "Oh, the favorite song that you wrote." His
Oh,
dad was
no.
saying, "It's my favorite song ever, regardless
yeah.
of who wrote it. It's my favorite song ever." And then his dad died, and he just didn't play it. He
Mm.
never released it, and he didn't play it. And then he's recently gone, "Fuck it, I'm gonna play it."
And the irony that song probably is actually the thing that will take him off. Because all
it's
of
like his
his
dad's finally gone, use me as the song to become successful and show people who you are. It's like,
Yeah, because his other songs are really nice, but they don't quite catch me as much as that does.
yeah, there was something about that. But that's the magic. That's kind of what I was trying to get across, because this is something me and you argue about all the time. I say argue, heated debate in terms of what makes a good song, because you know, I mean, we're the perfect two people to debate about it, really, because we'll just go on forever. But my argument of imperfection is actually the perfection. So, you know, just capturing the soul and the magic of a song is what I want. Like, there's auto-tune, there's timing correction. You can do all of that if you really want to, but if you don't sing like you mean it into the microphone, I'm not going to listen to it and think, oh, well, I really get the emotion that comes. It's that kind of argument. But I
totally agree with.
Yeah, here
I'm
we go.
exactly the same. Like, I would 100% agree with that. But if you're singing something really nice and then something's blatantly off key, I wouldn't be like, oh, yeah, but that was really emotive. Doesn't matter that you sang that line out of key. No, it does matter.
Well, no, this is where I get your point, because a perfect example, if Amy Winehouse got on stage and sang the whole fucking set out of key, I'd have left by the second song. Like, this is ridiculous. I didn't pay the money for you to just not be a good performer. But if she sang a song and it was a live setting and she got, I don't know, 5 or 6 of the notes wrong, bit flat, you know, a bit of a need a drink of water, I wouldn't give a shit.
But if
as
she
long as the whole
recorded that
performance,
for her album,
if she recorded it and put it on her album and there was 2 or 3 dud notes in it, wouldn't give a fuck if the song made me feel like that I'm a song. That's where I'm going. It doesn't have to be polished perfection, because the whole reason for music is to make someone feel something. And if you can make them feel something, regardless of whether it was done, it's like making someone feel alive in a car, whether it's a Porsche or a Rover. It doesn't matter.
Nice.
You know, it doesn't matter. You can still make them enjoy the journey, regardless of what car they're in. It's that kind of thing. It's the vehicle. That's the word I'm looking for, to make someone feel. And you're saying that vehicle has to be polished through the car wash, shiny rims, everything.
I'm just
for it to be
saying,
good.
I guess as a singer, I listen to the vocals a lot. So and the words and the meaning. So if I really liked a song, like this song, for example, I'm a Song, and he sang some of it flat, it would irritate me every time. So I'd be like, oh, it's such a good song. Like, I wish you'd have just got that bit right, because I want to sing along to it. And when you sing it wrong, I sing it wrong because you've not sang it right. Do you know what I mean?
But then would there not be a part of your brain that goes, oh, but how can the song still make me feel like that, even though there's something wrong in it? Maybe it's not wrong. Maybe it's what the song needed for me to feel like that.
But how many songs are there out there in the world that are recorded and they're flat? Like
a hell of a lot. You just don't listen to them. If
Yeah,
you
'cause
go
they're shit.
back, this is what I mean. So if
'cause
it's
you
not
pick
in
people
your
like,
category, then
what's
you
his
don't like
name?
it.
What's his
Stop
name?
wiggling your finger at me.
I'm
What's this?
wiggling. What's his name? That guy that you're like, is it Pete Doherty? Is it him?
Oh, Pete Doherty from Baby Shambles, Libertines and stuff.
Terrible. I don't care. Terrible.
I see, but that's the thing. You think it's terrible, and there's a bit of a nostalgia feeling to it, because that was my youth, teenage years, walking around with my Parker on, smoking roll-ups, thinking I'm cool. But that didn't matter to me because it was catchy. The melodies and the rhythms, it was just really catchy. But then you listen to some indie bands, you listen to some metal music. There's not even a key in some metal music. It's just and people like it.
I don't like it.
But this is what I'm saying. So because it's not your taste, it's wrong. That's
I've never said it's wrong. I'm just
you're saying it's shit.
Listen, if I was going to sing a song,
now we're into some good shit.
if I was going to sing something and I was like, I don't know, trying to think of a song. If I was doing, oh, you might need somebody, and then I went, oh, you might, oh, stop it.
I mean, that just sounded like some kind of, I don't know what you'd call
Yodel.
it. Not like a vocal fry, but like an unintentional riff. But the thing is,
No.
you're also, I'm going to throw this one at you as well. You're also restricted to conventional westernized tonality in terms of scales that we use in Western society. But you go to Asian cultures that have different melody, well, it's different keys, sorry, and different...
Amazing.
But this is the thing. They might use some notes that we would regard as, I don't know, like a passing note, or like, oh, you'd go to the flat there. They might not. They might go to the neighboring note that to us, it just makes us feel uneasy. Like, no, that's not right, because it's not what we're used to hearing. But to them, awesome.
But they're so good at doing those scales that they make it work, like jazz. Like if you went wrong, you could correct that. If
Jazz
you know
is still a westernized tuning.
you're a westernized.
No, because literally, you go to some other cultures, their tuning is literally in between. Like they'll have a note that's in between a B and a C. So to us, that sounds horrific because that's just what our ears are trained to learn and like.
I would like to do a poll. I would like people to comment on this and tell us.
I can do a poll on Spotify. Actually,
Yeah, let's do that. Do you care?
No, let's just put who's right, Pete. Okay, it's just
All right, yeah. In general life,
this is how to cause a rift in the
I'm
house
going to
without even being
message all
here.
my friends, all 5 of them. Tick my name.
So anyone who's listening, I need 6 friends. Yeah, look, I think everyone kind of gets what we're arguing here. So I'll put some form of poll on the Spotify podcast, and if you want to tell us who's right, who's wrong, go for it. But let's not detract from the fact that Stephen Wilson Jr., I'm a Song, YouTube, all that kind of stuff, it's worth a
Dreamy.
listen. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's just, I liked the fact that it just stopped us in our tracks and made us go, fuck, yeah, that's not just what a song should do, but that's also what a performance should be.
And we've listened to that like on repeat several times, and every time we're just silent, aren't we? Like,
Yeah.
I just want to listen to it.
Like it's written. Haid said to me once, "Oh, you write songs with quite nonsensical lyrics."
Because you
And
talk nonsense.
yeah, well, no,
I'm joking.
it was a polite way of him saying you write lyrics that don't actually mean anything, but everyone can relate to. I think that's kind of, but that's just the secret to a good pop song, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I won't text you back because you said you don't love me. You know, everybody goes, oh, okay, yeah, I can relate to that.
Can I just tell everybody that came with a dance move, and none of you got the pleasure of seeing it?
No, you never will. But you know, it's that kind of thing. Everyone can kind of, oh, I can relate to that. Taylor Swift is the like perfect example of writing these crap songs. Well, actually, it's not crap. All right, I'm falling into the trap myself.
Nah.
But you know, and he's not the only one that can do this. There's thousands of people out there that can do this. He's just currently the one in the limelight that can write lyrics that sound fucking deep and meaningful to him, personal, because that's what people say when they say be yourself and you'll be successful, because they're saying if you write about what you really care about, the likelihood is every other person in the crowd feels the same, but
Yeah.
no one's put it into words quite the way you have.
If you don't connect with it, no one else will connect.
Exactly,
With it.
yeah. And I think that's some of the lyrics in it, like he talks about, I'm the one that told you she was no good for you. I was the one that was there when you first got high. But it's kind of like what a dad would say to their son, but he wrote it for his dad. His dad said it was his favorite song, and now he's singing it for his dad.
No,
Like,
the song is about. I'm a Song is about what a song does to you.
yeah, I get that. But then that's what I'm saying. Nonsensical. You could interpret the lyrics
yeah,
as
okay.
his dad saying it, which is, that's like the extra layers of clever for it for me. I'm going, it's not just good, but overall, I think people should have a listen.
Yeah,
Let us know what they
I'll listen
think.
to it.
The poll will be on there to tell us who's right, who's wrong. But that's what I'm aiming for.
Can we have a forfeit? Like whoever gets the most polls as right, what does that other person have to do?
Has to take a picture of their outfit picked by the other person and put it on the Twitter page. Obviously nothing rude, but it's got to be the stupidest outfit possible, and that has to go on Twitter for everyone to see.
My brain went, that's stupid. And then I went, you've got a 6-year-old daughter. That's a great idea. I'm going to hook you up.
Oh, fuck.
Listen, guys, vote for me if you want to see Pete in a tutu.
I'll fucking make that work.
You would.
I will, yeah.
You got a juicy booty, baby.
Okay, on that note. So that, all in all, go have a listen to it. You've heard our reasons to why we think it's a great song and why he's a great artist and all that kind of stuff. But that is kind of what I'm aiming for with getting some musicians in here. I want to try and capture not just someone singing their latest cover, like, la la la, this is Taylor Swift, haha. Some kind of magic. And over the year, I'm considering how we're going to get video involved.
Yeah.
There is ways that I could probably do it in a better way, broadcast kind of way.
Well, you got a birthday coming up.
No. Yeah, anyway. But I think that's been a really good kind of summary of 2024 and lead us into 2025. If people like the K and Pete podcast, we'll do a few more of them over the year just to kind of catch up with weird conspiracy theories and
Catch up on your juicy booty.
Yeah, or me in a tutu, whatever.
That's really fun to say. Say it.
No, I'm not.
In that accent.
No, because it's about me, which is even weirder.
What pretend you're saying about me? Juicy booty.
Listen, there's Christmas chocolate on that table.
Say it. Say the word.
Juicy booty. There you go.
Oh, you didn't do the accent. It's not the same.
Right, let's call it there. Thanks all for listening to the first one of 2025. I hope you listen to the rest of them. Let's see what fucking happens. It's going to be fun. Cheers all.
Bridging the Gap Podcast.